Okay, in this short video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the social annotation part of this course. So the first question is, why annotate in the first place? Discussion forums, ugh. Maybe you like discussion forums, but I don't. I haven't had a lot of positive experiences with them. I've been a few, but few and far between. So as you see here are some examples of kind of what often ends up happening in discussion boards. Jim, 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then somebody else posting, wow, Jim, I totally agree. I like how you added the 2's together and got 4. Very insightful. So it's not really any substance to it. And that can happen in social annotations as well. But because the annotation is tied directly to the thing that you're annotating, the reading or whatever it is, we tend to get a little bit better responses. And same with this other one over here. I love bread. I agree with you. I love bread too. I like the part when you said you love bread. Great point. So we're not looking for those kinds of annotations. We're definitely looking for something that's going to really contribute to our learning. And again, that will be something that we'll kind of learn over the course of the semester, but just go into it knowing that we're not just trying to agree with somebody, but we're trying to kind of find ways to push on what we're learning or ask questions about what we're learning through the readings and the readings that we're annotating. So another reason why we annotate, learning from readings is hard. Sometimes it's hard to motivate ourselves to read, but also sometimes when we're reading, it's sometimes hard to get something out of it because it feels like it's an individual experience rather than a communal experience. And so annotation can actually help us to kind of talk about this together. So this is where the social annotation part comes in. Many of you probably have annotated documents before. It's just any sort of piece of paper or a book or something where you're writing notes in the margin, or in digital days now, selecting something in a Google Doc or something and making some sort of little annotation or a comment or a question. So with social annotation, we're all going to be annotating the same document. So everybody in the class is going to be looking at this same document and trying to talk through our own understandings of what's going on there, making connections to experiences in our life, making connections to other courses, and trying to just make it a much more rich experience. So it helps us to clarify ideas in the reading. It allows us to have discussions that are really about something because they're directly tied to something in the text. They help us interact around specific questions. You can ask a question about a section, or I might be asking questions that I want you to kind of respond to or be thinking about. It can also help us get to know one another better. That as we interact and share experiences, we get to know each other a little bit better, and it can motivate us to engage in the reading rather than just this exercise that we do just because it's something that needs to be done, but we can actually engage and enjoy the reading much more. So how will we socially annotate? For this course, we're going to try, I've used a different program before, but this time we're going to try using Perusal. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what Perusal looks like. I showed it in a different video here, but first of all, inside of Canvas, you'll know that you're going to be annotating something because it'll say annotate in all caps there. So for example, this first one says annotate the P254 syllabus. And when you click on it, usually what will happen is I'll actually have a little bit of instructions here, and ideally I'm going to have a link that will take you straight to Perusal and straight to that document. Perusal is a little bit weird because it doesn't provide direct links, but I can kind of get around that by going to an annotation within that. We'll see how well it works, and we might need to make some changes to the instructions here, but regardless, you'll end up going to Perusal, and you'll sign in, and you'll see something like, it should see something like this, and you'll see a list of your courses. If you have any other courses that are using it, probably not. But you'll see P254, and then inside of here, you will have a list of assignments, and each document should have an assignment attached to it. There's a possibility that we don't always use assignments. Apparently there's some weird things with assignments. Again, I'm still kind of learning this. I've used a different platform before, but I wanted to try this one this semester. But you can also go to the library and you can see all of the readings or videos that will be available. So I'm going to show you how to annotate on a PDF document, and then I'm going to show you how to annotate on a video because they're slightly different. So here I have the syllabus up here. So you can just click on work on assignment, or I think there's another one that says open. And basically what happens is it brings up the syllabus here. Now, if something's been annotated already, you'll see it highlighted in kind of this blue, and when you mouse over it turns this little bit pink. I can click on that and I can see where it says this syllabus is just a draft of teaching and learning, blah, blah, blah. It's basically a copy of this, but it's telling you how I want you to engage with the syllabus and annotate the syllabus. So in order to annotate, you just select a piece of text, and then it immediately comes over here, and I can say, this is an annotation. And then I just hit enter to actually submit. Of course, you're going to make a better annotation than that. This is a place to ask questions and wonderings and other things. But so this is an annotation, and it pops it up there. So now I have some things. If I go, I didn't really like that, I can delete it. You can star if somebody's contributing. Like if you like somebody made a really good comment, you can star it. There are other things. If you feel like it's plagiarized or inappropriate, you can flag it. You can actually create a link to that specific annotation. You can also copy the comment to a clipboard if you wanted to copy and paste it somewhere else. So this shows you just the current conversation. And if you click on this button, it'll take you to where that is in the document, because sometimes you might see you might be scrolled way down here, but you're looking at this annotation still, so you can just click on this, it'll take you back up. So that's pretty straightforward. Select some piece of text. If you want to see all of the conversations that are happening in the document, you click on this little button here. You can also see the starred comments. You can see page thumbnails. Some of these you're probably not going to really need that much. A table of contents, so if you want to jump down to specific areas in the course, or in the document. Not all documents are going to have that, but just as an FYI. You can see your notifications if anybody's like tagged you or things like that, and you can tag people when you make a selection. You can actually hit the @ symbol and you'll see a list of people, and you can actually tag somebody if you want to ask somebody specifically, or tag me and say, hey, I don't understand this, or I need to understand something about, or does this connect to another content, another reading, or whatever. And you can tag somebody else, or you can say, hey, how does this apply to physical education or something like that. So you can just tag them, and then it will show up in notifications. Since I'm signed in as a test student, it's not showing up for me. But you can see other things too, notes. If you want to make any notes, just general notes on the document, these are not necessarily shared. You can share them, but they're not necessarily, they're kind of more private notes for you. You can have it read the text to you out loud, if that's helpful. I don't know how well it does at this, but just FYI. And then there's this assignment progress thing, but I don't think it will work for us because I'm not, since I'm not grading these, I don't really care about the progress of it. I just want you to look through, make sure you're reading all of the readings and making annotations. Now, if you, again, I mentioned this briefly in another one, if there's an image and you want to annotate a specific part of the image, I can create a box by clicking on the annotate figure and then just drag a box around it. And then I can say, oh, I don't like using Google Drive. Obviously, you would want to say more about that or why. But again, just an idea of how you could comment. There are other things here. I can actually close this out so that I've got more space here. If I want to just read the document, I can close that out, and I've got them right on the sidebar here. So anyways, you'll just scroll through the document, find places to make comments or questions. And when you see somebody else's comment, you can click on it and you actually just reply to it by making another comment. Let's see, I think this, okay, let's submit that. Oh, you know what? it took that annotation away. I didn't actually submit that annotation. So now this is a reply to this, which is sort of a problem. So make sure you hit enter. So like I did not hit enter when I did the Google Drive thing. And so when I showed up in this conversation, it's like a new comment that doesn't really make any sense compared to this. So I can click on something and I can just, here is another comment. And again, you can tag somebody and say, what do you think about this? And this is part of the thread of conversations. It's actually supposed to look a little bit more like texting or something like that, like a text thread or a chat message rather than like threaded conversations. So that's one downside to Perusal, the way that I don't like it as much that way. But again, you can still follow the conversation by just looking down. And then if somebody makes a comment like this test student and you want to reply to them specifically, just make sure to tag them so that everybody knows that you're replying to their specific comment. So that is the brief overview of Perusal. Again, there'll be assignments here. However, you don't always have to annotate via the assignment page. You can also go to the library. So for example, I can click on this little video here and I can click on open. And then it pulls in this video right here and I can just hit play within this. Okay, now the play button's not working. Maybe because I'm logged in as a student right now or something. Maybe it's not totally loading. But I can then, wherever it's at in the video, I can make a comment. Why don't I leave? I'm going to go back to the instructor just so I can show you this. Oh, of course, it logged me out. That's probably why. Sorry, this video will be done very shortly. Go back into 254, go to the library. Oh, it's still not working. This is what technology gets us. Let's see if this one works. Okay, well, for some reason it's not letting me show you that right now. And that's okay. So what happens is you'll play the video, and when you can just pause the video at a point where you want to make a comment, and then you'll click add comment, and then you'll be able to add the comment. Yeah, see, something's going on with Perusal, and that's fine. And then you'll actually see on the timeline of the video like a little dot, so that will show you where all the comments are. And again, you can just click on that dot and it will take you right there, and you'll be able to see the list of comments on that, and you can add to that by typing in a new comment, and you'll get the hang of it. But we can do it on videos as well as really what I wanted to show you. So let's go back to this PowerPoint real quick and finish this up. That took a little longer than I wanted. So some people may be saying, what if it's hard for me to read a document like this? I don't like reading on the computer. I want to print them out and read them on paper. That's totally fine. You can always download the document, read it on your own, and annotate it however you normally annotate it. However, once you're done, please go back to Perusal and add your thought out comments and see how your classmates and me as the instructor have engaged in the reading and the questions that we're posing there. A lot of times I'll have kind of a reading guide sort of on the document itself through the annotations. So you may, before you jump in, just make sure you scroll down and see if there's any comments that I've added to help you with your reading, because some of the readings are hard. So I will give you some help through my own annotations, and make sure you're responding to your peers' annotations. So the question that we always get, or that I always get, is, okay, so how many do I have to make? I know a lot of your courses have said make 3 comments by the deadline or whatever, but I want us to have actual conversations. And I think if I say comment at least 4 times, that will stop us from engaging meaningfully, and we'll start to just complete the assignment. And so we just start BSing. We go, oh, I only made 2 comments this time shoot, I got to make 2 more. I'm going to go find something to just add a little comment to, and it might not be meaningful at all. So for this reason as well, I'm not actually grading the annotations. I feel like when I've graded annotations in the past, it's again resulted in kind of BSing and not useful. So comment as much as you want. There's no minimum or maximum amount. However, so there's no requirement, but I do expect you to be annotating at least a little bit on each reading. What that means, I don't know. I think you will find lots to be able to annotate. Again, there's no minimum or maximum, but I do expect you to be annotating at least a little bit. So part of these annotations is us working as a team to together improve our future teaching practices by engaging with the thinkers in the class. And we do that through that social annotation process. Since we don't have a face-to-face discussion where we can kind of learn together, this can help to replace that or at least support the same kinds of things that we might get out of a class discussion. Now, while the annotations themselves are not directly graded, at the end of each week, there is a graded reflection where you'll be asked to reference specific annotations from your peers that advanced your thinking and to reference your own annotations and how they contributed to our collective knowledge. I know the last one sounds a little bit self-serving where you're trying to say, look at me, I did something, but that's actually kind of what I want you to do. Like, here, I asked this question, and it turns out that people were really interested and had some good ideas on this. And so my question helped us articulate some of these, some of the application of this theory or whatever. Again, you'll see in the reflection prompt. But so there is a part the annotations are not directly graded, but there is a part where I'm asking you about your annotations that will be graded. So that is the end of annotations. Again, you might have more questions. Please feel free to ask me or again, make annotations to ask questions, especially on the syllabus itself is a great place to ask more questions about these activities.